This is the kind of expectations for all the teachers in Colorado, okay? As a classroom teacher, you need to have the knowledge of the content you teach. Of course, if you teach math and you don't know math, that's very problematic. Teachers establish a respectful learning environment. That really means not only you know your math, but you know how to really conduct the kind of environment in which the children can learn. And teachers facilitate learning for the students, so how you deliver your lesson, how you teach something so the students can learn. And teachers reflect on their practice. Do you know you have done a good job? Why you have done a good job? Do you know why it did not go so well this time? Do you know how to improve? Why it did not go well? Okay, and teachers demonstrate leadership. Quite often, probably you have to be in the field for a certain period of time with some kind of experience to take on some leadership initiative. Finally, teachers take responsibility for student growth. Okay, I highlighted the last one. Can anybody tell me what do we mean by student growth? Okay, I see. Thank you for volunteering.
That students, like, at the beginning of the year, once they take like those like practice tests, and see how they did in that test, and then take the same test again and see if there's improvement.
Okay.
Actually,
So you're saying that we use a test to see if the students grow?
There are certain standards that the students have to reach by the end of, say, 6th grade year in order to move on to 7th grade. So, watching responsibility for student growth is making sure the students.
How do you know that? Yeah, you want to see them grow, but how do you know they have grown?
Because you have to.
What will you use to do that?
Teaching them like social responsibilities more than just the content in the class. You're teaching them how to grow.
That's what you do, but how do you know they actually have grown? From point A to point B, how do you know that?
By the way, their material, like how the way the material changes from the beginning years of the year.
So the materials you are using, how the materials have changed. Okay, just think about, okay, anybody else who has okay, thank you for, yeah. Anybody else? Okay, I've heard how you see the materials have changed during, along the way you teach and also using a test, okay. The interesting part is that people tend to rely on tests when we talk about student growth. Okay, this group is a little bit different from the previous groups I have met with, because in the past people just tell me, okay, the test is standardized test. What is now is PARC, is that right? I think the state is using PARC right now. In the past there is something else, I don't remember the name. In Colorado? CSAT. All right. Yeah, because I spent 14 years in New Jersey, and it's a different kind of test. Yeah, you know what I'm talking about. Okay. During the program, while you are making progress, you will gradually learn. Actually, test is only one way to assess students. It's only one way to measure students' growth. There are so many different ways. Actually, I think right now, Colorado really encourages teachers to use a combination. Test is still there. No matter we like it or hate it, test is there. And test is going to stay for some time. I don't know how long, but it's going to stay. At the same time, we should not rely on only test. However, test still plays a very, very important role in the whole system. Okay, there are a lot of issues associated with test, but the reality, I'm talking about the reality, okay, test is there. And test has become a factor that make people nervous. Okay, not only for the students, also for the teachers. Teachers have become so nervous about the test results from their students. Okay, anybody heard about Senate Bill 191? Okay, only one person, two, who else? Anybody else? Probably 2 or 3 from this group. Okay, Senate Bill 191, when was it passed? I don't remember, 3 years ago, 4 years ago?
5 years.
2010 or 5 years, right?
Yeah,
Okay,
5
good.
years.
Oh, right, when I was, yes, okay. You know what? This is the bill that was passed. So it was passed by the decision makers elected by Colorado citizens. Nevertheless, this is a bill that was passed with not so many people even understanding it. I mean, having heard about it. So like sitting here, only 2 people heard about it, but this is a bill that has made great impact. Not only for the kids, but also the teachers, but also you, the teacher candidates in the program. In what way? Senate Bill 191 actually emphasizes a lot on accountability in terms of student growth. Okay? However, to a lot of people, in the eyes of many people, student growth could be interpreted as something that can be only measured by tests. I just told you that's not true. It is not supposed to be like that, right? But in the eyes of a lot of people, that's the case. Okay? So teachers have become very nervous about the test results. Okay? They really, really want to prepare their kids to be able to do a good job on all kinds of tests that the children have to take. What does that mean to us? That really means sometimes the teachers don't want us to be in their classrooms because they don't want to let go of their children. They don't want their children to be in your hands if you are not prepared well to work with the children, because they don't want the teachers in their classroom who cannot really help them prepare the kids. All right? It does not mean that you always have to teach the kids to the test in order for the children to perform well. But you still have to teach the children well in order for them to perform. Is that right? So that is something I want to say. You are going to be in a program with a lot of field experiments. We have a lot of practical courses. We have a lot of field requirement. In order for you to fulfill the field requirement, we have to place you in the schools. Guess what? We have a lot of requirements you have to meet before we can place you in the schools, because the schools are nervous, the teachers are nervous. They don't want anybody who is not prepared to work with children to be in the schools. Okay? So that's why before you are placed, before you are sent into the classrooms, we check on you. We have certain elements there that we have to look at in order to make a decision if you can continue to get into the field or not. Okay? I'm just telling you this ahead of time so that you understand some of the requirements. There's a larger context for a lot of things that we're doing here in the preparation program. Okay? And I'm sorry, where is it? So there is the expectations in the field. You need to demonstrate your content knowledge, do a good job to keep up your GPA, okay? For all the content area courses, you have to take a history, math, or physics, whatever. And you also have to demonstrate your skill to work with students, colleagues, administrators. Even before you get into the field, sometimes you have group work, you have to work with your peer students. Is that right? Student peers. Okay, keep in mind, we are being prepared to become teachers. To be teacher, by definition, you have to work with people. Okay? And also the reality of the world is that you are not going to be in the environment that everybody is perfect. You are going to be, from time to time, working with a person whose working style or personality that you don't like. How do you handle that? Think about that you're being prepared as a teacher. Always keep that in mind, okay? So that goes into professionalism and disposition, okay? Whenever you are in the field, you are being viewed as a professional, okay? It is very rarely that you're viewed just as a student. There's a difference between being a student and being a professional teacher. Keep that in mind. Another thing that I would like you to think about, because of the population we have in Colorado, not only in Colorado, but also the whole country, why is that, actually, yes, I think it's still the same case. In the United States, in terms of student population, we have about 10% of the student population who have certain kinds of disabilities or some kind of special needs, okay? And also about 4 years ago, we have about more than 10% of students who don't speak English as their first language in the classrooms. And that number since has really grown higher, but I don't have the most recent data. But in Colorado, that percentage is big, is huge, okay? I think in Colorado there are, in Denver area, I don't remember, it's some 20-some languages or 40-some languages that are spoken in Colorado. And also, we have a lot of school districts that are under the watch of the Department of Justice simply because, the teachers are supposed to provide the students from different culturally and linguistically backgrounds the kind of support they need. So we have a lot of things going on. And that's why we strongly recommend you to consider certain endorsement or added, concentrations in order to make yourself more marketable. And several areas that are in high need. Doesn't matter what you teach. CLD, which is culturally and linguistically diverse education, which used to be named as ESL education. Actually, school district really would love you to have the skills and competence to work with the students who don't speak English as their first language. Doesn't matter what you teach, because these are the students who will be in your classroom. Another area that is in high demand is really your skills and competencies to work with students with special needs. Again, these are the students who will be in your classroom, okay? And there's another part that is the STEM, the math, science, these two things, okay? This is something that the American educational system is a little bit weak, okay? So this is another thing that you may want to consider. Doesn't, if you're in the right area or if you're in the elementary program, probably want to take on the mathematics minor, something like that. For the elementary program, we have just implemented our new elementary program. We have 6 tracks for you to choose from. There's the CLD track, there is the special education, there is the math, and then science, social studies, and literacy. All of them are related to elementary education. So at this point, I sort of want to stop right here because I want to give some time to our invited guests. These people are the school district HR directors, human resource directors, or the people who work in the area to hire new teachers. I really would like them to give you some perspective from the school's angle. So that it's not me, Dr. Huang, who is trying to tell you what you're supposed to do, how it is like, because, okay, I was a classroom teacher, but that was some time ago, but right now, I'm not situated in the school setting. I really think you would love to hear from the real people from the real field that you're getting into. Is that right? Okay, so they are going to tell you about how they look at the teachers, how they want teachers to be prepared, and what kind of needs they have. At the same time, you will have some time to ask questions. Okay, altogether, we're going to give them about 30 minutes. Okay, thank you very much. We have 1, 2. I'm supposed to have. Okay, we'll have more from the back.
Janice is up top.
Okay. So I really would want you to come to the front.
Oh, don't applaud. Wait till we're done talking to you, then we'll see.
Okay.